Schizo.
In the previous episodes, we discussed the love story of Carmilla and Cecilion, how Cecilion used the power of the blood demons to resurrect Carmilla. Now, the two will be together forever, but there are still people who try to get in the way of their love. The two try to live a normal and peaceful life, even though the demons, as well as other humans, still continues to hunt them. The links to part 1, 2, and 3 of this series are in the description. Now let's continue part 4 of Carmilla and Cecilion's love story, The Night Flower. Carmilla was unconscious for several days, and when at last she opened her eyes, Cecilion was beside her. His eyes were full of concern, continuing to uphold his promise not to leave Carmilla's side. In a village near the interior of the Monian Empire, where they were surrounded and attacked by demons, Carmilla showed a glimpse of her power and rushed at Alice. And as she loses consciousness, she thought that that was their end. In the 47 days that Carmilla was unconscious, Cecilion found a way to suppress Carmilla's bloodthirst. It was in an ancient book of the blood demons where Cecilion first saw a strange flower. The stem is thin and sharp, the petals interlocked with each other, and the leaves are crimson. Cecilion showed Carmilla the photo of the flower, and she was fascinated by its beauty. A photograph, as if it had a life of its own. When Carmilla touched the photo, she was surprised because she suddenly lost her thirst for blood. Carmilla suddenly felt power pass through her body, and that is the proof that this flower has a strange power. With Carmilla being resurrected using Cecilion's blood, Carmilla is still not used to being a blood demon. Every night, her bloodthirst was so intense, and it seemed as if it was etched in her soul. It is so hard to fight that it causes so much pain and suffering. One night, Cecilion found a merchant who claims to be able to find anything in the world. When Cecilion showed the photo, the merchant immediately realized that it was the night flower, and he knows that it is very difficult to obtain because it grows in the depths of the land of dawn, the Barren Lands. This flower draws nutrition from flesh and blood. All the plants around it dies because it is being devoured by the night flower. The closer it is to the abyss, the more the flowers bloom. Many seek to obtain it because it can also be used against blood demons. The merchant suddenly stared at Cecilion. He has only one of these flowers in his possession. It came from the town of Kostove in the Barren Lands, and no human can enter that place. Cecilion took the flower, and to make the greedy merchant shut up, he paid him a large sum of money. As Carmilla touched the night flower, it withered and melted in her palms. Suddenly, her chest throbbed, her blood felt like it was boiling, and all she could see was red. But eventually, everything she was feeling disappeared, as well as her thirst for blood. Carmilla finally felt peace again. However, 7 days later, the night flower's effect disappeared, and suddenly Carmilla's thirst for blood returned, but now it's a lot stronger. The two realize that if they want to try and continue to live normally, they will need to find a night flower seed. Carmilla just closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep. She felt Cecilion's kiss on the cheek. "Just stay here and wait for me," said Cecilion, feeling the trembling of his hands. Carmilla knows that Cecilion will risk his life to get the night flower seed. Carmilla could not quite imagine that there was a plant growing in the town of Kostove. Its land has been ruined and decayed by darkness. Even the most valiant warriors are afraid to go to this place. Carmilla followed Cecilion secretly. They promised that they would not separate, even in death. And when Cecilion noticed that Carmilla was following him, he hugged Carmilla, and the both of them felt a little comfort. In the center of the town, so many night flowers bloomed, but it is surrounded by demons, and they were watering the flowers with blood. And as the blood poured, the flowers became even more red. They realized that they have to fight the demons to get the flowers. As the fight began, they were pushed back because of the number of demons that attacked them. Cecilion used all his power and killed the attacking demons. However, more and more suddenly emerged from the darkness. And because Carmilla was new to being a blood demon, she still doesn't have the ability to fight. Carmilla and Cecilion became fully surrounded. The demons were slowly biting and eating them, and their blood flowed into the night flowers. Cecilion hugged Carmilla to protect her and thought that maybe this is their end. Carmilla heard the influx of many more demons, but when she looked at the night flowers, she saw that they suddenly blossomed, and it was as if the flowers were whispering to her. Then Carmilla said, "We may die someday, but not today and not here. There are a lot of dangerous things outside. However, the power of love is the strongest thing in the world. It can help us to break any shackles." She pushed Cecilion away, and Carmilla jumped into the night flowers. The thorns of the flowers pierced Carmilla, and Carmilla's blood flowed even more on the flowers. The night flowers, now soaking wet with Carmilla's blood, suddenly grew. The power of the night flowers merged with Carmilla. Intense light blinded everyone, and the demons around them disappeared, but their blood turned into a mist. The other demons witnessed what happened, and they ran away in fear. Carmilla, in the middle of the bloody mist, smiled. Her true power has awakened. She no longer needs the night flower because she herself blossomed as a night flower. By the way, if you're interested in being a content creator, there's a link of all my gear in the description. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. My name is Kizo, and this is your Game Gospel.